From the Post-Millennial, University of Kansas professor placed on leave after telling students men who won't vote for a woman president should be lined up and, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So we're going to try and keep the language a little light here. It's a family-friendly show, and we don't want to, cross any lines there. But this is a professor who, in his classroom, this video has gone massively viral, has stated there's a lot of men who won't vote for Kamala Harris because they don't think a woman should be president. And he says we could take those, or something about we could take those men and line them all up, and if you know what I mean. Then he panics and says, wait, was that recorded? Delete that. I don't want the dean to find out.
Wow.
He's been placed on leave. But this is,
should have been fired, not placed on leave.
Can you imagine placing someone on leave when they
placed on leave? No, you should be fired immediately.
Because you're in an academic setting talking about when you believe people should be shot. That is complete insanity. The fact that you could get away with that and still have your job.
This is the party of love and tolerance.
Yeah.
But this is the same party. This is the same people who cheered and celebrated when they heard that President Trump was almost unalived. Mm-hmm. These are the same people who were laughing about it and saying, "Oh, I'm so sad like that they missed. Oh, they should have had better aim." These are the same people. This is the party of hate and division, disgusting,
Amen.
Evil. This is evil versus good at this point.
I mean,
I have never wished death on someone because they didn't support Trump.
Right.
Never.
I wish life, happiness, and safety to the people I don't like. I want Joe Biden to be in his rocking chair on his porch with his kids and grandkids running around in the yard playing with, old, I don't know, what the Commander or whatever the dog's name was. And he's got a little blanket on his lap, rocking back and forth with a glass of sun tea. I mean, that sounds nice. Just stay away from our politics. Right. Let us take over and fix things. And we're going to say, go sit on your porch and do whatever you do away from us.
Exactly. No, the reason I want Trump to win is because even though he is imperfect, I think he's going to be better for this country. And that includes for people living in this country whose political views I disagree with. I don't want them to get hurt. Like, my desire isn't for them to be hurt. I think that when Donald Trump gets reelected, there's certainly certain people he needs to stop from doing the things that they're doing. For example, he needs to make sure that criminals are thrown in jail. He needs to make sure that the people in the deep state who have been overstepping their authority and trying to usurp democracy are punished for that. But I don't want my enemies to be subject to violence because of their political views.
Well, we've been saying for a long time the interest in violence, the violent political rhetoric has been one-sided. It's really been coming from progressives in I would say progressives in the media and in other institutions, and this includes academia. And so in this case, I am not totally surprised by this, but at the same time, you cannot say that you guys are the party of peace and have this be sort of a casual conversation that's had. I think this is the lie that the left wants to sell, that you need to live in fear of your neighbors who may or may not have a Trump sign in their yard.
They're lunatics.
At the same time, they're like, you don't deserve life.
That's
if
right.
You won't vote
They are
for the
bullies.
female president.
They call Donald Trump a bully. They call us bullies on the right. People who are voting for Trump bullies. They are the real bullies. If you do not agree with them politically, socially, they will literally vilify you, crucify you every single, these people are nuts. Like when Tim posted on his X page, Terrence is coming on the show today. Tim, man, they called you some names, brother. I said, well, damn. I was like, oh goodness. I've never heard that before. All because Tim doesn't agree with me politically, so he's this and he's that. Talking about violence. Oh, I slap him and I knock him off. These people are violent and absolutely lunatics. Yeah. All because you do not agree with them.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
It is insane, but they are not the party of love and tolerance.
Not even close. They have two rhetorical moods, right? They have two ways that they express themselves. They'll say, we hate conservatives. They'll say things like this, where they actually call for violence against conservatives. They'll say it's okay for our political movement to burn down cities. They'll say we wish violence on you and your family. And then their other rhetorical mood is, what do you want a gun for, you lunatic? It's America in 2024. Why do you feel a need to protect your family? What, are you crazy?
But then when Kamala says, well, of course I had a gun. I was a prosecutor for many years. So they're like, see, that makes sense. Of course she gets a gun. It's very weird. I think that one of the interesting consequences of this election will be a certain level of political fatigue. I think this is essentially the fourth you can't elect Trump because he will ruin the world campaign that the DNC has launched, right? It was Clinton, 2 different Biden ones, and now Kamala Harris. And I think Americans are tired of hearing Orange Man bad. They don't really believe it. I was listening to this leftist news analyst today who was saying, Jack Smith is doing all this stuff with January 6th, but really he should have brought this case a long time ago. January 6th is not an issue that's swaying anyone's opinion during this election cycle, during October, before the election, because everyone's tired of it. It's been mass hysteria from essentially DNC, but definitely the Biden-Harris administration for at least the for the past 4 years. The news media was crazy during Trump's turn. I mean, there is only a certain amount of interest that people have, and so when they start to hear things like this professor's statements, they're like, I want off this roller coaster. Even if they don't like Donald Trump, I think there are enough Americans who look at it and go, this is getting crazy and this is not what I want. That it is sort of for me, it's sort of a white pill, right? Like the fact that we could maybe have a time where politics don't dominate every conversation. Because you remind me of something earlier. I think it was from the Wall Street Journal, but there was an article out about the study on how many, about the rise in the number of adult children who do not speak to their parents. And this is becoming an increasingly common phenomenon. And I think we all anecdotally know someone who has a family member who doesn't speak to them because of politics. It could be other stuff, right? But largely, I would say that this happens because of the political division in America. And it doesn't make people happier. In fact, it makes it's worse for everyone.
Yeah. But you know what? I do believe a lot of people are not falling for the Orange Man bad anymore.
I agree with you.
Because a lot of people are realizing they said that in 2015 and it didn't happen.
Yep.
Like that talk it's not working. And that's why Kamala and the Democrats are begging for black people to vote for them. That's why they're still that's why they're still pushing the whole fear-mongering tactics, because it's really, and it's not working, and they're trying to make it work. But that's why she is struggling with black people. And that's why she is struggling with women, because the Orange Man bad is not working. There are people now who necessarily do not care for Donald Trump, but they care more about feeding their children. They care more about being able to pay their rent on time. People don't want to lose their house. People do not want to lose their jobs. People are going to vote for I've heard people say, I'm going to hold my nose and vote for Trump. You know why? Because they care more about their livelihood than a freaking woman being in office.
Right.
And that is what matters. Your feelings do not matter.
And to the left, that's fascism, by the way, right? The way the left defines fascism is you putting your family's well-being over our theoretical desires. That is literally, if you look at the way they refer to fascism almost any time they talk about it in media, that's almost always what they're saying. These Trump supporters want him to be elected because they want to get rid of illegals. That's fascism. That's not fascism. That's saying that my priority is ensuring that my family's fed, and this administration isn't doing a good job of doing that, and now they're giving resources to people who broke our laws to come here. On top of that, one thing the Biden administration and the Harris campaign has been doing repeatedly, and I think you're both correct to say people are over Orange Man bad, is they've been alleging he's going to be a fascist, he's going to be the next Hitler. He had 4 years to be Hitler. He didn't do it. He didn't become Hitler in the 4 years that he had. But just notice this. They're not running on what happened when he was in office, because they know they'll lose if they do that. They're not pointing to what the country looked like when he was in office. And it's in part because they know the only low points of his administration were things they supported.
Right.
The COVID lockdowns and the BLM riots.
Right.
So all they can do is talk about, well, our record's bad, so we can't talk about our record. His record's good, so we can't talk about his record. Let's just make up fairy tales about what might happen if he gets elected. It's going to be a Handmaid's Tale.
Right.
He's like Voldemort. Like, let's point to books that are in the pop cultural zeitgeist right now and say it's going to be like that, or call him Hitler, and that's it.
Right. For the fourth time, they are running on the future threat of what Trump will do, which is fascinating because he is a previously elected president. He served 4 years. He's proven what kind of administration he would have. I don't care if you can look back at Trump's administration and say, oh, well, he shouldn't have done this, or he could have done more here, or whatever. Like that's totally legitimate. But to continue to run on if he is allowed in the White House, the world will fall apart, is ridiculous. And I think that there is this, they don't know what else to do. And in part, it's because their candidates are weak. Their candidates themselves do not have a personality or charisma or policies to counter what Trump is offering. And so they just go with, well, he's the bad guy and we're the good guys.
They have to do that because a lot of people know. The one thing that they're not saying is, I haven't heard one Democrat say Trump is going to ruin the economy. They're not saying that. They're saying, they're saying Trump is going to take your rights away. Trump is going to start a war. But they're not saying he's going to ruin the economy. Because a lot of people know that if Trump wins, that the economy is going to be booming and bucking. And a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. They want to start businesses. And they know the perfect person. They know that Trump is the perfect president. They know that if he becomes president, that they have a better chance at having a successful business under Donald Trump, under a businessman. So that's why they're pushing the whole, he's going to take your, okay, you might make some money. You might make a lot of money, but he's going to take your rights away.
Right. But people right now, the economy is too important. Like, the economy is what will decide the election for a lot of people, because they have been through almost 4 years of Biden-Harris, and they went through 4 years of Trump, and they know the difference. I mean, it was one of the best moments of Trump's appearance on Theo Von's podcast when Trump is talking about, like, during my economy, everyone was happy. And Theo Von goes, yeah, my cousin bought a boat. Like, there are so many Americans who look back at that time and were like, oh, I went on vacation more. I didn't pay more every time I went to the grocery store.
Can we just imagine, like, if there was an honest trailers of Democrats' 2024 agenda, and it's like, well, if you vote for Trump, the economy is going to get a lot better. Right. You know, a lot of money, and the border will be more secure, so probably a lot less death. But you can't do drugs. You're not going to be able to have rampant, weird porn videos playing up all over everywhere. And
right,
they won't show genderqueer to kids. Trump wants to ban genderqueer from schools.
It is funny though, because it's like, no matter how many times I know some people in my life that are Democrats, left leaning. And they're like, yeah, well, they're banning books. And I'll be like, here's the book they're banning. And they'll go, yeah, well, I don't want them in charge of who's banning books. And I'm like, look, man, are you just saying that because you want to argue? Because I'm really just saying I don't want these graphic books for kids. You know what I mean? Like, we don't put those in schools. It's just a weird reality where when you look what the Democrats are actually offering, if you're someone who pays attention to the news, you know that Trump is offering peace agreements and peace accords with other countries. He's offering de-escalation of war and conflict. He's offering other countries to pay their fair share when it comes to national defense. He's offering a secure border, manufacturing, return to the United States, a better economy in general. Democrats over the past 3.5 years have given us nothing. Escalation of war, an open border, loss of manufacturing and jobs, though they say it is UAW begs to differ, and the auto workers beg to differ. So it's certainly in key areas. They say crime is actually down. Then the National Crime Victimization Survey says, actually, no, crime is way up. If you actually know what's going on, and you look at what their plans actually are, it's more illegal immigrants in your neighborhoods, kids reading graphic adult novels in schools, children getting sex changes, a bad economy where wages are not going up fast enough with comparable to the rate of inflation. If you're actually paying attention, you're looking at the Democrats literally just being a downward spiral into degeneracy and destruction of this country.
Exactly.
And it's fascinating to me that the only arguments I get are Trump's a liar. And I'll go, yeah, but he's racist. Okay. And they're like, he says mean, nasty things. He's a bad person. He's been found liable of sexual assault and criminal fraud. I'm like, wow. So tell me again how Kamala Harris is going to fix the economy, help the victims of the hurricane, secure our borders, and end war. Because all you're doing is complaining about Trump. And I'll tell you this, if all those things about Trump were true, he would still be a better president than Kamala Harris. And it was Phil who mentioned it. If Trump did nothing that he promised, literally nothing, he's a better president than Kamala Harris. And I got to be honest, if Trump did 9 out of the 10 things that Kamala Harris would do, he's going to be a better president than Kamala Harris.
Right.
But she's the one stealing his platform right now.
Look, Trump's not going to do what she's doing. I'm just saying.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, I agree with you. A lot of what they're saying about him is complete nonsense. A lot of what they're claiming about him is a total smear. But even so, I find it hilarious when they try to fall back on, well, Trump's just not a good guy. guy. As if we just have a plethora of moral and decent people in politics today to choose from. And Trump's the bad one. It's ridiculous. Kamala Harris isn't a good person. Everybody knows that. Nobody thinks she is.
There's this viral video with this dude, Dean something or other, that was like on Jubilee or whatever, where he's sitting down in a chair and then these Trump supporters are challenging him and he's going like, well, Kamala Harris has got better character and blah, blah, blah. We invited him on the show. He said yes. And then the last minute, he canceled on us. So, like, he was supposed to be here on Friday, and he's like, oh, I can't do it. You know why? Because as soon as he started talking to people, they were like, ooh, you're going to go with Tim Pool? You are going to get obliterated. You know why? Because the whole shtick that they have is Kamala Harris, you know, she's got more character than Donald Trump. Donald Trump's been accused of and found liable of sexual assault. That was literally his shtick. And my response is, wow, how does that end the war in Ukraine?
Right.
I don't care. Like, you come to me and you say, as a man, we are trying to solve the world's problems, secure it for those who will come after us, for our families, for our friends. And what we offer up with Kamala Harris is the same thing. She would do nothing different, but she's got better character than Trump. Okay, I'll give you that, but I got to give you something else. She's leading us into war alongside Joe Biden. We've got the black community in Chicago literally saying, and I quote, we are being replaced. Now, how about that? That's crazy. So you tell me all day and night that Trump's a nasty guy. And you know what? I agree with you to a certain degree. Certainly. Yeah, wow. Doesn't change the fact that policy-wise, he's going to do the right thing. And for most Americans, especially working class people, and you got to understand the difference between working class and middle class. Working class people don't have the luxuries of 2 weeks vacation. They're living paycheck to paycheck. And Donald Trump's like, I'm a nasty guy, but I'm fighting for you. And they're like, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, like, they talk about how mean Trump is, and setting aside everything I said about just their moral quality, because you can't have immoral people, but who come off as kind. They don't come off as nice either. Like, Joe Biden's a nasty guy. Joe Biden, he just come here, fat. Let's measure IQs. Let's do a push-up contest. Yeah. He's not nice to people.
Fat.
He's very rude. He trashes and insults people all the time. This is not like a decision between Trump and then someone who's just a nice, sweet dove who's kind to people.
You lion dog pony soldier. Do you remember what he said?
Lion dog-faced pony soldier.
You lion dog-faced pony soldier.
You should have put that on a hat. It would have made him more likable.
And you know what? Another thing.
I think they did.
I doubt.
Another thing that drives me crazy is when they bring up, oh, his businesses went bankrupt. Oh, shut up. Come on. Now that is another talking point. Well, how's he going to fix the country when his businesses all went bankrupt? All of his businesses did not go bankrupt. If you have never been an entrepreneur or never started a business, then you don't know how hard it is. Sometimes you fail. And sometimes you...
But it wasn't like an official campaign.
No, I know.
Well, I think there's an important point to make about that, and I've said this before, but they'll say Trump filed for bankruptcy. Now, yes, his businesses did take advantage of bankruptcy law at different moments in time. However, while Donald Trump's businesses lost millions of dollars worth of their own money, Kamala Harris lost at least $42 billion of your money when she was put in charge of a project to expand broadband, and after 3 years still has not connected a single person to the internet. I do not care if a tremendously successful businessman at one point in time lost his own money. I'm concerned about the fact that Biden and Harris have lost trillions of my dollars and your dollars.
That's right, your dollars. Because I would say, Seamus, you have never had anything close to $1 trillion.
It's all of our money.
Collective.
I have some claim to it. Well, actually, you don't know that, to be fair. I haven't released my tax returns yet.
The gag that Seamus and I were working on was that all of Timcast Media was funded by my voice acting as Dr. Fouchy on Freedom Tunes.
Freedom Tunes, that's right.
We're going to do a bit where I was like, Seamus, I haven't had a role in a long time. I need that royalty check. So can you write in Fouchy on something for us? IRL is going to go out of business.
And I've done that before for Tim. We've done Fouchy videos where it's like, I don't have a great idea for this one, but I know Tim is going to go under if I don't pen something that involves him.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.